Today we're talking about my 2022 goals with all of you and how to set goals. I will also share my financial goals for the year. Stay to the end where I share my most ambitious goal of the year. Hi everyone, I'm Jessica, and I love talking about financial freedom after experiencing burnout early on in my pharmacist career. On this channel, I talk about passive income and simplifying to combat feelings of burnout and stress in your life. I'll also share openly about my burnout story and how we paid off massive student loan debt and how we're retiring early. Make sure to watch those videos as well. If you want a recap of my 2021 year and what goals I achieved, what ones I did not, make sure to watch that video. I also talked about how I goal set. I used the KAKEIBO Method to goal set and how I use the weekly joy check with the 10 pillars of life to set goals in. If you're not familiar with that method, you can listen to this podcast episode on how to goal set. You can also use the SMART goal method as well. As we get into goal setting, I also like to reflect on my why and my how statements. So if you're not familiar with this method, this is the first step in my Burnout Doctor method where we clarify our why, our how, and our value systems. Now, if you're not familiar with this, my why statement is, I love helping people find confidence to live joyful and intentional lives because we all have meaningful contributions to add to this world. This is why I get up in the morning. My how statements are, make it simple, push the boundaries, navigate the path, challenge others to raise the bar, and connect with people. Now, this is a great reminder as you set up your goals to go back to your why and how statements, make sure they're very clear, they're easy to write down, and you're familiar with them because this is how we make decisions day to day. To start off the year, I also like to choose a word for the year, and my word for the year is laughter. Now, this might be surprising to you because there's so many different words we can choose to focus on for the entire year. And in my previous years, the last 4 or 5 years, I've always chosen a different word. And you could see in 2021, my word was abundance. And you can go back and watch that video to see if I felt like I met that word. And in 2022, I just want to bring a lot more laughter and joy into every single day. That's one of the reasons why we got our puppy, Lucky Bear, to bring a lot of laughter and joy into our lives. So I'm going to be really intentional with incorporating that into my experiences this year. Today, we're going to start off with work and mission in our weekly joy check, and then work our way into financial health towards the end of this video. So in work and mission, I'm going to first start off with one of my goals. My first goal is related to this YouTube channel, and I am going to publish at least 52 videos this year, ideally publishing one video per week. And this is a goal that is very actionable and achievable. It's within my control. So if you want a different example, I purposely did not set a goal where I want to achieve 100,000 subscribers on this channel. It's something that, yes, I would love to achieve that milestone in subscribers. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, if this is adding value to your life, I would love if you subscribed and turn on notifications right now. Overall, that is not within my control. I cannot force someone to subscribe to the channel, but I can make sure that I'm publishing consistent value each week, and it's very actionable to be able to publish a certain amount of videos on the channel during the year versus try to work towards a metric that is outside of my control. For the Burnout Doctor podcast, I would like to publish 26 episodes this year, and that would be one episode every other week during the year. One of my goals is around batching out my content. It's really important as I keep my full-time job as an associate professor and board-certified critical care pharmacist that I batch out my business content so that it is ready to go and going to be published weekly on a schedule. So I would like to batch out about 10 to 12 episodes at a time. So that means recording and writing them in advance. So usually I take a few days to write the episodes, then I record the episodes, about 4 to 8 episodes at a time. Then I take a few days to edit them, and then I take a few days to upload them. So it is, a process. And if I have a process in my schedule to do this, then I'm able to batch out the episodes and the videos, 2 to 3 months ahead of time, even up to 6 months ahead of time for the podcast. So then it's all ready to go. It's all uploaded and going to be automated to publish on the day and time I want it published. Next up is keynote speaking. And you know that from my 2021 video, keynote speaking was a big portion of my business and my growth for the year. For keynote speaking, I would like to have at least 20 events in major organizations scheduled for the year. And I also have a revenue goal related to this and profit goal. I will not share that for privacy reasons, but having 20 events with some major organizations is really exciting. I also have one already scheduled for February of this year that I cannot wait to share more information about once the event is held. If you know an organization who is looking for a virtual or in-person keynote speaker, I'm happy to come in and talk about well-being, simplifying our burnout. We have signature talks listed on our website, so please be sure to visit our speaking page and reach out to me. For digital products and online courses, I do want to update some of this content and add more value to my digital products. So I am going to update those and relaunch 2 of the courses in 2022. So please make sure that you're on our email newsletter if you're interested in some of these products as they're updated and as they launch again this year. So that goal related to digital products is something that I have on a quarterly basis, and I'll be able to focus on that after I have batched out some of my content related to the YouTube channel and the podcast. For affiliates and sponsors, I have worked with a lot of great companies in the past, and I still have some great affiliate relations with some of those companies that I love supporting week to week and month to month. And I would like to add 5 new companies in 2022 to partner with, either for affiliate relations or sponsored posts, specifically related to some of my financial well-being content to really add value to your lives and be able to review their products, especially products I'm already using, and being able to establish a partnership with those companies. For my full-time position as an associate professor, I have been associate professor for the last 2 years. I was promoted in 2020, so I put in 2 years as an associate professor. So one of my goals is to work towards full professor, and that would mean that I need 4 years as an associate professor, and it takes 1 year for the promotion cycle. So right now on the timeline, I would go up for promotion and my application would be due in 2023, so about a year from now, and then I would be eligible to get promoted in 2024. So if I'm on that cycle, I do have a goal of 2 peer-reviewed publications for 2022. I have some things in the works and some things that have been sitting on the sidelines that I need to revisit. So 2 peer-reviewed publications would be a goal for 2022, with the longer term goal of going up for a full professor promotion cycle. In terms of experiences are a big highlight in 2022, with one of our family trips already planned to Hawaii, and I'm really excited for this trip to go on it with my parents and my sister and my niece, and it's going to be a great trip where we are traveling for the first time on an airplane in over 2.5 years, and I just can't wait for this trip to come later in the spring. I also plan to have trips outside of California to visit some family members, and those have not been officially booked or planned on the calendar, but we are seeing what will work best for my husband's schedule and my schedule. And then finally, for experiences, I plan to enroll our puppy, Lucky, in some type of good canine certificate program. It'll be an experience for both myself and for him, and I think this will be great as he turns 1 later on this year. In terms of friends, family, and my partner, so my husband and I will be celebrating our 1-year anniversary soon, and we're going to continue our weekly joy checks, our weekly marriage journals, and something I'd like to incorporate in 2022 is to make sure that we plan an experience every month. We were going to do this in 2021, but this is something that we didn't achieve, especially as some challenges around the pandemic arose. So switching off planning experiences each month is something that I would like to incorporate, as well as incorporating new transitions as a couple and as a family unit. I plan to continue monthly video calls with my girlfriends and monthly video calls with family members that live out of state, and then we'll see when we can also see each other in person this year. One of my exciting goals in this category is scheduling a photo shoot with my husband and a photo shoot with my family. So 1 in fall and 1 in spring of this year. And it's something that I love doing. I love professional photography, and I usually take a lot of my own photos. So being able to hire someone that can really capture our memories together is going to be really important. It's something that my husband's not a big fan of photos together. That's why he's not on a lot of photos I post. So I would like to get some professional ones done as a family unit. And then one of my goals is to send out holiday card next November, December, and that'll be our first holiday card as a married couple. So I definitely want some pictures with my husband and our puppy in him, and then some of our larger family unit as well. In terms of movement related to health, I am changing up some of my goals in this category. You know that I love my hydro rower. In 2021, I was using it at least 4 to 5 times a week, and I want to change up my movement goals to just reincorporate some more variety into them. So on my hydro rower, I'm going to plan to use it 2 to 3 times a week, and then I plan to incorporate some of the hydro app workouts into my routine, whether they're yoga and stretching or Pilates. They offer a lot more Pilates types of workouts, and also reincorporating my bar method online movements where I am able to incorporate some of those non-hydro rows into my workout routine for about 15 minutes at a time, at least 3 days a week. I'm also going to add in a new exercise in my morning routine. I also do stretches and some movement in my morning, and I'm going to add in 50 push-ups per day, 5 days a week. And for this, I can either choose to do reverse push-ups or traditional push-ups or a combination of the two, whatever I feel like my body needs that day. So it will give me some flexibility in how I achieve that goal. And that will be some flexibility also as 5 days a week instead of every single day. And then for movement wise, I also walk our puppy, Lucky, usually twice a day. So we go through about 2 miles a day. So I'd like to continue that routine where if we do 1 long walk or 2 shorter walks, or 1 longer and 1 shorter during the day, we're at least getting our steps in together and achieving about 2 miles per day. For the learning category, I have a focus on reading books. I would like to read 5 new finance books and 10 books related to self-development and professional growth. So those are books that I'm still sourcing. So if you have recommendations, please let me know. I already did a review on the 10 books I recommend people read in 2022. So you can also go and listen to that episode as well. For mental and emotional health, one of my big goals is to move into a new home that we're going to stay in several years. And this is something that we've been planning over the last few years, and we've moved several times over the last decade together. And now it's time to settle down in something that is going to become our own. We're going to own it. So we do plan to buy in 2022 a new home, and then I would like to declutter before we move. It was always good to do a declutter before you move, and then organize the home so it really feels like our own. My other goal in this category is to make sure that I'm aligning my vacation and my time off with my husband. My husband has 12 to 14 weeks off a year and 1 day off a week. So it's something that in order to make sure that we are growing as a couple and we're spending quality time together, I would like to align a lot of my time off with him as well. In terms of other health related things, I do want to continue with our eco-friendly journey where we are replacing a lot of plastic use products in our home, and we're doing a lot more composting and responsible recycling in our home. So in 2022, some of the eco-friendly products I'm looking to source include makeup products. Makeup is something that I've still been using some of my old products, and I want to use up everything that I already own, and then I'm going to transition and research different companies to see what products are being packaged in non-plastic type packaging that are eco-friendly. So that's something I will be sourcing. The other thing I'm going to be sourcing is new pots and pans as we move, and I want those to be really eco-friendly, non-toxic. And then I'm also going to be sourcing eco-friendly appliances because we will be buying some of the appliances, whether that's washer, dryer, refrigerator, induction stove, things like that. So those are some things that I do plan that are related, to our health indirectly as well. Now we're getting into financial health, and I have several financial health goals. So let's start off with the savings rate. So if you have looked at my video on how I plan to retire early, you know that savings rate is an important component of that. And I have a goal of at least 70% or more of my savings rate for 2022. And it's something that I do think is very reasonable. And sometimes it does vary month to month with my full-time job having a very standard paycheck, and then my business having variable months and variable seasons. So 70% is my goal for the year. You can also check out my video on how I save over 70% of my income here. My next goal is to max out all of my retirement funds. So as you know from watching some of my other videos in financial freedom, there are different types of retirement accounts. So one of those accounts is my work 401k. So the maximum contribution limits in 2022 are $20,500. So I plan to max that out this year, and I have maxed it out for the last few years, but I actually plan to front load this account again. So I did this in 2021, and I plan to continue this in 2022. And front loading means that you are either contributing the maximum amount in the first few months of the year, or for my scenario, I do need to contribute every paycheck in order to get my employer match. So I will front load with a very high percentage in the first 2 months of the year, and then I'll decrease that percentage for the rest of the year. So at least I'll have about 60% of the account funded, and then I'll let the rest of the account fund through the rest of the paychecks to make sure I get my employer match. I do plan to fully fund my 401k at $20,500. Then my employer match is over $5,000. I won't give you an exact number for privacy reasons, but that's over $5,000. That will contribute. And then my Roth IRA is a $6,000 contribution. And for this one, I do a backdoor Roth IRA because of income limits, to make sure that you check the income limits related to this of how you fund your Roth IRA. And then my solo 401k will be 20% on my profits from 2021. And then finally, any other money will go into my brokerage. So I do plan to contribute 6 figures in 2022. So anything left over from that would be going into my brokerage account. And that usually is a monthly contribution with auto investing then each week. And, some months will be higher and some months will be a little bit lower depending on the goals and the income that's coming in from the business that month. That's up for financial goals are related to vacations and experiences. So I already talked about that and how we're going on experiences this year. So our budget for those is about $8,000 to $10,000, and I will also include training and boarding for Lucky in that estimate, because when we go away, usually he would stay with family members, but for one of the vacations, we're all going on vacation together, so he will be possibly going to a board and train type of program, which would be about $1,000 to $2,000. So we're budgeting for that as well. Now to my biggest and most ambitious goal of 2022 related to finances. This is the house down payment fund. Now, I live in Los Angeles, California. Housing market is going crazy, and we do plan to buy in 2022. So my house down payment fund is $200,000 to $300,000. I'm not going to give exact numbers related to this for privacy reasons, but I actually started saving for this house down payment in 2017, and then I paused that house down payment fund in 2020 and 2021 as I learned more about financial freedom. I took some of that money and put it into brokerage accounts for investments, and now since we are getting closer to buying, we are going to fully fund that in the first 4 months of the year and make sure that it has a strong foundation. So we don't know exactly if we're going to go with a 20% down payment or something lower, like a 5, 10, or 15% down payment. It really depends on what mortgage rates are at the time, what mortgage we plan to get, because we have the option to get a doctor's loan. My husband is an MD, or a more traditional 30-year mortgage. So we're kind of just seeing what are the most beneficial options. We are planning this fund for the down payment, closing costs, and any minor renovations that need to be done. And once we buy, I'm hoping I will be able to share a little bit of that journey and a little bit of the final product with you here on the YouTube channel and on our blog. I can't wait to hear what you are looking forward to in 2022. What is your word of the year? What are some of your goals? You can post them in the comments for some accountability. And I can't wait for an amazing year together here on the YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Make sure you're taking action steps and downloading our resources below. Until next time, cultivate joy.